John and Carol are very special.
One thing I love about Carol, she is driven,
Genuine,
talented,
extremely hardworking,
very compassionate,
and mindful.
Just a lovely person to sit down and have a chat with.
Before I knew her well, I found her sometimes quite terrifying. And then I discovered that she just has a great big mushy marshmallow of a heart.
John is benevolent, outgoing,
Bold,
intelligent,
tenacious, witty.
He loves a good raunchy joke.
He's actually an adept Italian speaker who spent some formative young years making his way through Italy as a troubadour.
He's got all the skills that some of us have never been able to master.
and he's able to generate possibility where other people can't see it.
They make a great match.
They've always, as far as I can see, had a very strong partnership and a mutual commitment to trying to make things better.
In the 1800s, there were very few houses. These were like camps. And summer people came in and took over the farms. They also started building on the lake because it became a place where they could spend the summer.
Well, when we were young growing up on this lake, it was just the way it looks now, with very few houses visible anywhere.
Those who came before us and were really environmental pioneers in protecting and preserving this magnificent watershed.
These people were conservationists in their own right, but they did it primarily in terms of their own social connections.
Suddenly, the people came only for a weekend or for the week. This is a huge transition that took place, say, from the 1950s to the 1980s. People like John and Carol Thompson caught this, saw this, and understood that changes in leadership, changes in how we approach conservation were required.
John and Carol represent the best of the gifts that the newcomers have brought to build these institutions so that you have hundreds of people now engaged in all of these pursuits.
So John and Carol, whether it's with the Science Center or the SLA or the Conservation Society, even the music that they did, all of this was to make this place wonderful even as it grew.
They didn't say, how can we help? They said, we are here to help. We are going to help. They didn't ask the question, they just pitched in.
There would simply be no Kirkwood Gardens without Carol.
Watching her in action and watching the incredible amount of detail and organization she puts into everything, I've learned a lot from that.
And I remember a summer when we had a drought before Kirkwood Gardens had an irrigation system. And Carol was hand watering with a hose 2 to 3 hours a day.
I don't think there's a project that she's afraid to take on. So nonprofits really need that. We can only do so much with the staff on hand. There's so much more that has to get done with the outside community and letting them know what's happening and getting more and more people involved. And it's just been a blessing. And a blessing to me to get to work with Carol and try to emulate her in some very tiny form.
John's, I smile every time I think about it because he is such a joy to be with. I love him because I know I can count on him to be absolutely consistent, clear, committed to whatever it is that we decide we're going to do.
I am board chair of the New Hampshire Music Festival.
John has resurrected the New Hampshire Music Festival. It's been a great benefit to the community.
John's been relentless with me about partnership. It's virtually impossible to do without the support of a board that gets it. And John, as the board chair, would really push me and push our board members to think about ways in which we can connect with the other organizations so that 2 and 2 is 5.
And we'd like to extend the invitation to work for this place to more neighbors, more occasional visitors, more sons and daughters.
They keep in mind the big picture and what the larger objectives are. And that's why they've kind of insisted and led the way to organizations working together, because we can get a lot more done when we're all working together.
When we were launching the Squam Uplands Conservation Initiative, which is 12,000 acres and the largest conservation project in the history of the Squam Lakes region, I asked John to co-chair the campaign with me because I'm a part-time resident of Holderness.
John was invaluable to me personally in the initial working with the Conservation Society. We were new to each other. The organizations had very different modes of operation. He could see the common ground when we couldn't. And that's a rare skill. In taking that leap of faith, John held both of our hands, right, in keeping us moving forward.
Did that all go well?
Oh,
Yeah. Nice picnic?
John's an excellent bridge between organizations, between people, between cultures, undertaking efforts like creating a boat access, which involves a lot of different communities, a lot of different stakeholders, a lot of different needs. Some of them are mutually exclusive in terms of the type of use. Really requires two things. It requires the ability to listen to what everyone else is doing, but it involves a real strength to see what is right and to get that done while doing the best you can for the communities that are around and for the lake.
The community is vastly better because of the presence of the Thompsons, and they have shown us a pathway to working collaboratively across organizations.
We're working with people who really want to save this, and the balances are much easier to strike because of the ethic that has grown up around the lake.
It was just a very lucky day when Carol and John walked in or moved to the area and decided to get involved.
So grazie mille John per tu lavoro sul lago Squam.
They are part of our life, and we cheer them and thank them for looking us over and deciding that they would try to help and find out where they could lend a hand. And they've done it. And I think we're grateful for that.